everybody, my name is Lucky Explosion and I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of The Lucky Show. That's right, the show where I, your host, Lucky Explosion, talk about things that happened in my life, or of course, various topics such as games, movies, reviews, and even of course, personal preferences of things that have happened in my life, or similar to that sort of thing. And yes, it's been a while since I've last said that, because we are just now coming out with episode 5. What's been happening? Well, a lot of things really. To really go ahead and give you the main small thesis amount, things have been going a little bit crazy with how I'm having to do a lot of my stuff. With what college is happening with me now, also the fact that I'm putting a whole lot more effort into my YouTube, and not my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel, and everything else in between as such as personal things that have happened in my life. But we are finally back, and I am so happy to bring you guys this all new and exciting episode filled to the brim with some nice new content, and of course, personal nice amounts of, thought put into it. Because today we're going to be talking about something that I personally believe should have really been talked about since the very first episode. Because, let's discuss something here real quick. I want to go ahead and get really close to you. No, a little bit closer. Little bit closer. Yep, too close. A little bit back. Perfect. Okay, now, I want to be very honest with all of you. I was never a gamer. Yes, that's right. You can go ahead and put your comments down saying that I'm apparently a traitor to the entirety of the gamer cause. But I will be real with you, in my past, I was not much of a gamer. I used to be a guy that really enjoyed a whole lot of different things back in my day. I sound old when I say that. But nowadays, things have changed. I have become quite an avid person that really enjoys gaming because I really just enjoy the kind of thing that gaming does for people. Because let's be honest here, people enjoy games. We've been playing them for many, many years, and the genre of games has expanded from various different types of genres, whether it be FPSs, good old-fashioned sandboxes like Gmod, or even just team-based games, including strategy games as well. But if there is one exact genre that we have to talk about when it comes to certain games, it's the horror genre. Because to be honest here, people play horror games for people to enjoy, whether it be for you being a YouTuber who's playing them for your channel, or playing a game with your friends that you guys just really want to get scared of, or just playing it by yourself with the lights turned off because you're a gosh darn masochist, because you're a masochist that wants to go ahead and just feel nothing but suffering and pain. Honestly, you could be either one of those. But when it comes to horror games, I will be real with you, I have steered far away from those games. Not because I hated them, not because I never liked them. I've enjoyed a couple of horror games in my past, but the problem was the simple fact that I was just too scared to play them. There was literally no game that I ever really played which was a horror game that I could really last more than a couple of minutes on, a few minutes at most if I didn't have anybody on a Discord call with me. But it didn't really matter because any other game I played, it was just scaredy cat, and scaredy cat. And I will be honest with you, I personally am tired and I'm sick and tired of it, okay? I am not that kind of a scaredy cat. I am not going to be a scaredy cat no longer. Because I have brought with me a good old friend of mine that's going to prove to you all that I am not a scaredy cat.
Shirtless Wesker.
Anyways, like I said, when it comes to horror games, I'm just not the type of guy that's personally fond of them. Except for maybe one. Because you'll be surprised to know that there is indeed one game that I remember very dearly, that I used to be quite upset, that I used to actually be very, very interested in. I still enjoy the game from time to time now, but most of the time, I truly do believe that this game has had quite a bit of a change in these recent years. What is the game exactly? Well, if you don't remember from the teaser trailer, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know about a game called Dead by Daylight.
This game is absolutely brain dead, and I just want Shirtless Wesker. That's it, man.
Jake, shush, we haven't even got there yet. Shut up. Anyways, like my friend was saying though, yes, we are going to be talking about Dead by Daylight, a game that was once been a very prominent game in the horror genre with its unique aspect of the 4v1 game, which has managed to survive many different types of games trying to utilize that same formula, but ending up failing due to certain things that happen. Dead by Daylight has been around for many, many years, and in this video, we're not going to be talking about the rise and fall of Dead by Daylight, because I'm pretty sure you guys have already seen a bunch of DVD content creators create those types of videos. We are also not creating this video to talk about the killers or survivors, buffs, nerfs, blah blah blah, any of that crap. This show is about me and how things have affected me, and also just mainly us talking about stuff. So, I thought, why don't we go ahead and make this episode a two-parter of certain things like that. Where, for the first part, we will be talking about the humble beginnings of me entering the realm of Dead by Daylight, and also talking a little bit about my thoughts on the game at the very beginning. And then, I will then go ahead and talk in the next part of part 2, where we will be continuing and ending it off with my final thoughts and my ending arguments, or not arguments, but ending statements, where I am today with this game and how it has affected me a whole lot. So without further ado though, why don't we go ahead and get things started by popping into our first section of today's video, the humble beginnings of Lucky's venture into the fog. Jake, hit the button.
What button? The shirtless Wesker button or the start button?
What do you mean, what button? You know what button it is.
Okay.
Just press the damn button. So let's get one thing straight here. This video is of course not made to talk about Dead by Daylight in a way that's, to slander the game. Because right now, Dead by Daylight is in its own kind of state where I don't want to be a part of any sort of criticisms or talking about the game in a way like that. No, we are here to only talk about Dead by Daylight and its effects on my life and where it has been, what exactly it's done for my kind of person, or how exactly I felt about it ever since I played it. Because back in the day, I only really ever had the opportunity to really play Dead by Daylight after I got this new computer. And that's not even a lie too, because on my old computer, the one that I used to do videos on and used to do Let's Plays and everything on, that computer wasn't exactly very much built to handle Dead by Daylight in a way. Don't get me wrong, it was a good computer. I was just a bit of an idiot at times and very, very much made it felt like, it was close to dying. Mainly because I was, a bit younger. I wasn't really thinking very straight with some of the stuff that I did do to that computer. And, it was quite hard for me to have to handle it and, take care of it because I was very stupid. You know how us kids are sometimes. We start off being very stupid when we're very young. However, I will say that once I did have the opportunity to finally play my first few matches of Dead by Daylight, I will say very clearly that I felt like I had found an amazing and very loving game of mine. The game was awesome, I liked it, I liked playing the different killers and the survivors, and of course, learning how to play as a survivor at the beginning was something that was very interesting. Because normally whenever you play a multiplayer game and you get put into a tutorial or whatnot, sometimes the tutorial just has you doing basic stuff like jumping around or something, or giving you practice enemies or something to prepare yourself for what's to come. But for Dead by Daylight that wasn't the case. Because in Dead by Daylight, you actually had the opportune chance to choose if whether or not you wanted to do the tutorial, or if you wanted to go ahead and instead do something else completely different. As in, you could literally go into a Dead by Daylight match and actually play a game without doing the tutorial. And off the bat, that's actually something very interesting to me, because most games, majority of them, don't necessarily let you do that, except for maybe a few certain types of games like Left 4 Dead 2, Team Fortress 2, and maybe some other ones as well that, if I remember correctly, not Payday 2. Payday 2 is a bit different. But there are a multitude of other games there are some other games that actually do do this exact same thing as well, where instead of just putting the player into a tutorial setup and, essentially telling them how to play the game, in Dead by Daylight, you're given the option of either playing the game immediately and essentially going ahead and, learning the game by yourself, or by going ahead and playing the tutorial and learning from there. And in my opinion, there is no better way to learn stuff more effectively and much better than via actually playing the game. Because that's how I learn. I remember that I used to try playing the tutorial, not because I wanted to, learn the game, but because the tutorial on my old computer was the only one that actually loaded on my computer. And, I was very, hopeful that it would actually, load and I could, play. Of course, that wasn't exactly the case the whole time, because trying to, play a game and being all like, oh yeah, I should be able to play this game because, I have the ability to now because it loaded the tutorial map. That should totally work, right? But in reality, no, that's not at all how that works, and I was just being a complete moron. Nevertheless, though, I do want to go ahead and say that when it comes to Dead by Daylight, that the game itself is just something very interesting, and I decided to go ahead to bring in a very experienced veteran of the game, because I wanted to see if whether or not the game, because, how do I explain this? It's not very hard to explain Dead by Daylight and how it's really truly affected me, because I can't exactly explain everything about what I felt for Dead by Daylight. No, I can't exactly do that. Which is why I've decided to go ahead and bring in a friend of mine to help me out. You've already heard him in the very beginning, and I'm pretty sure I already introduced him, but why don't we just go ahead and say another hello to my good old friend, Jake the Thick.
I don't really count myself as a veteran. I played like a good time ago, but that's not it. That's it, man.
Yes, Jake, we all know that. We already know, mate. We already know. You're a very big veteran of Dead by Daylight, and, I was a very big noob.
I don't know who you're calling a noob, but I know you're a noob. Believe me, I know. Them corner techs ain't working, buddy.
Hey, even then, you've been turning into a noob yourself, okay? Alright, you haven't been playing the game that much, unlike I have for the most part.
Why don't we ask that Nemesis player who the real noob is?
Alright, enough bickering. Let's go ahead and get back to the real topic on hand, which is, of course, Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight. The game that makes me lose brain cells anytime I open it. It makes me kinda wanna throw Lucky out of a window, just maybe just a little bit. Like a little bit, guys. Just a little. I'm just kidding. I wanna throw him out a window a lot. Especially when he does something dumb. Like, I really want to throw him out of window. You should watch him play. It makes me, it gives me a brain aneurysm anytime I watch him. Like, I don't know why.
With that very interesting kind of intro, that actually go ahead and works very well into us going into section 1, the humble beginnings of me becoming a part of the Dead by Daylight community. Who's knocking at the door? Hello? Wesker?
Your feeble attempts only delay the inevitable.
That's not Chris. That's Jake.
Let's finish this. Farewell,
Don't
old
you do
friend.
it! That just happened. I'll deal with it later. Let's just move on to... let's just get this over with. So Dead by Daylight, a game that was released back all the way in 2016 by Behavior Interactive, was a game that all those years ago was something that was very small in the beginning, especially to me, because I didn't even know the game existed way back in 2016, and, well, I probably should have, because, at that point, it started to slowly gain a bit of popularity as the months progressed, because back in the day, DBD was not where it was as it was, today, as how big it is. Because DBD used to be just a small little game that was produced and created by a small little group of people, known as Behavior, of course, with only 3 killers and only a few survivors at the start. It looked very different. It had a much darker tone. Survivors and killers looked very different as well, with different animations. You could tell that it was their first big project, and honestly, it shows. But the one thing that stood out was the fact that the game had potential. So many people were actually interested in this game that you could actually start seeing, like, YouTubers start to play it after only a couple of months of the game being out, upwards to its first ever DLC. Now, of course, the story of me, of where I come into this, doesn't happen for a couple more, like, almost a few years until I actually gained my first actual computer, and, my friend Jake tells me about the game. Speaking of Jake, he's probably not having a lot of fun with Wesker. Anyways, but yes, Jake was the one that told me about DBD, and I originally was going to let him have a nice little pop-in little spot here, where he would be making a little bit of jokes about telling me about the game and whatnot, but because he got kidnapped, I'm going to have to do it myself. Essentially, what was going on was that I was told about DBD via a couple of friends of mine. One of them was Heck, and another one, no, not Heck, but his name was Hector, and the other one is of course Jake. And they wanted to go, and they told me about a game called Dead by Daylight. And of course, I didn't know what Dead by Daylight was, so they go ahead and show me the game. I got my sister to buy me it. It was like on sale, so it was like $5, I believe. And that was the point of me actually getting the game. Now, the big question was, did I play it? No, not because I didn't want to, and not because I was actually scared of the game, but because my computer wouldn't let me run the game. So basically, I was forced to not be able to play the game even after everything, because I tried my hardest to get the game to run, and I specifically remember me playing one match as Bill on a certain map against the Demogorgon on that old computer. I don't know how it was possible, but apparently the computer decided to be nice to me for that one match, and then afterwards it's like, oh, nope, sorry boys, won't let you play on that thing anymore. Thanks. I still have mad respect for my old computer, alright? That thing took a beating for a while until I got this one. But anyways, moving on though. DBD was very different by the time that I joined, and if you've been a long-time veteran of DBD, you know of all the countless DLCs, the countless updates that were created for this game, new killers, new animations, new changes to perks and everything. It was quite interesting, and for the people that never have played DBD or have never actually wanted to know anything about DBD, why are you watching this video? Actually, thank you very much for watching this video. It'll probably give you a little bit of information about the game, but I don't know why you click on this video if you don't even know about the game that much. I don't know. Anyways, moving on though. But yeah, DBD had changed a whole lot by the time that I actually got it, and I actually was trying to play it a whole lot. Because I will tell you right now, after I did get myself the game, I did not become a big fan of it. Not because I didn't like the game, not because I didn't hate it, but because I just couldn't play it with my friends, and they kept turning it into a massive joke about me not being able to play it. They would send me invitations on Steam being all like, hey guy, play some Dead by Daylight with us on that computer that probably wants to kill itself every time you open anything. And I will admit, I did get a little bit peeved off by them doing that, but I guess that's what happens whenever you try to go ahead and, play something on a computer that probably can't even run Minecraft on, highest graphics. That's probably not a joke anyway. But yeah, my friends would always turn this into jokes and everything, and so I did start getting a bit of a hatred of the game. So much so that I went to the DBD alternative, Identity V, which I am not going to be talking about in this video, because Identity V and DBD are not exactly the same game. They're made by two different developing companies, and of course DBD actually did endorse Identity V at some point, so it's not a clone, essentially. But maybe I'll make a video about that at some point. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, but yeah, I didn't become a big fan of the game because of them doing that. But eventually, of course, as the months progressed, I would essentially not really have a chance to play DBD. I would keep hearing about DBD, about the new stuff that would be coming out, but I never really paid it much mind, because I couldn't play it, and I was actually more interested in Identity V more than anything else. So, for that point on, I kind of just became an Identity V gamer for a bit, until eventually I stopped playing Identity V altogether, because I kind of got a bit bored of that. I haven't touched my account in literally years. But yeah, I still attempted my hardest to try and play DBD on my old computer, and honestly, it felt like a war between me and my computer sometimes, where I would just be like, alright computer, you're gonna work this time. I open up the game, it looked promising, things aren't gonna break, and then all of a sudden...
Powering down.
all in all, though, it was quite the experience for me just trying to get the game to run at all. And you know, it'd be a couple more, like, I think it would be almost like another year or two, or like a couple more years until eventually I would actually gain access to this computer and be able to play the game for the very first time in like forever. And I will say this, throughout my entire experience of actually owning the game and not being able to play it, did my expectations of the game live up to it? Did my thoughts of what the game would be like live up to what I thought about it, or did it change? And that's going to be talked about in Section 2 here, because Section 1 is not exactly a very long section, if I say so myself, because there's not really a lot to talk about when it comes to the beginning section. You know, because I didn't play the game, I didn't have a computer that could play the game, and honestly, throughout my entire time of owning the game and not being able to play it, I was just a bit pet peeved about it, and I never really liked the game. Not because I didn't hate the game, but, you know, I just didn't like my friends making the joke about me not being able to play. So, that's kind of just what I had to deal with for Section 1. But don't worry, Section 2, which is coming up right now, it's going to have a little bit more added to it. So why don't you go ahead and stick around here, because Section 2 is coming up right now. So Section 2 is a very interesting section, where you've already talked about, well, not very a long time, but we have talked about the humble beginnings of me actually getting the game and not being able to play it. And of course, all about how I've had expectations for this game, and my thoughts about the game, and as a whole. So, did any of them change? Did my expectations grow when I played the game for the very first time, or did they decrease when I played the game for the very first time? Did my thoughts match up to what I thought the game would be like, or did they lower down when I finally got the chance to play the game, and they just didn't, like, you know, match up to what I thought it would be like? Well, it's kind of a mixture of yes and no. Let me explain. So, for the yes part, I will say that this game did meet some of my expectations when it came to having to, like, you know, survive and being chased by a killer. Because I will admit, being a first-time player of Dead by Daylight and seeing a killer coming after you with all types of different abilities, it was quite terrifying, I will admit. Because I didn't really know how to play the game at the beginning, all I really had were some small niche perks and whatnot. And I was kind of, you know, a bit of easy, like, prey for this killer to try, for any killer really, to try and get me. Nowadays, I've actually learned how to actually, you know, do stuff, so it's not actually that hard for the most part, but I still have a little bit to learn. I'm not exactly a pro at the game yet. And then for the no's, and then of course for the no part of my answer, I will say that some parts of this game didn't exactly match up with what I thought I would see from time to time. I was expecting to see a little bit more, a bit more difference when it came to the survivors and everything, because I will admit I did have a bit of a Identity 5 thing going on in my head when I thought about it. But of course, Identity 5 is nowhere near similar to DVD in some way. Well, I mean, similar in some ways, but nowhere near similar with the survivors and everything. So yeah, but I will just say that it's quite something. Alright, like my first experience and my first ever match playing Dead by Daylight was quite a roller coaster. I'm pretty sure I even uploaded a video on my YouTube channel, which of course will be linked up there if you guys want to check that out to see how I actually did react to first ever actually playing DBD for the first time. It's quite the experience. Both Colin and my good friend Jake joined me for that video. Pretty fun video. Had a lot of fun playing the game, but it was quite a roller coaster, I will say that. But yes, after I did get the game, and after I finally got my computer that could actually run the game, I had a blast at the beginning. I had a whole lot of fun with playing as Survivor and Killer, because I had my friend Jay with me playing Survivor as well. But whenever I played Killer, I actually enjoyed it. Both sides are fun to me. I enjoyed playing either side. And honestly, it was finally, like, awesome to be able to play a game that you've been wanting to play for so long, but you never had the chance to because, you know, your computer was basically made out of toilet paper. So yeah, but as the months progressed and we continued forward, eventually I finally did manage to get it. Eventually, I think it was like I got the computer after it was during. Or wait, was it? I don't remember. I remember getting this computer like sometime before or after high school. But yeah, but it was like either before or after high school. But either way, though, I was playing some DBD, of course. And if you remember correctly, for the people that did begin watching my Twitch channel in the very beginning, I actually played DBD as my first ever Twitch stream, which I made into a couple of other streams as well. So yeah, DBD was the start of me actually starting off on Twitch. It also made it so that I could actually meet some of my longtime Twitch friends. I really did like that as well. So I will say that DBD did kind of open up my my sort of a size or something, like, you know, basically expanded my variety of people that I would meet. Because DBD does do that sometimes, you know. You will be able to meet some new people on DBD, like whether it be like somebody from across the world who is like actually very like amazing at, like, you know, looping and everything and knows how to utilize their advantages and everything, to the guy that's just playing the game for like shits and giggles and is just over here like running no mither or whatnot, to then the guy that just crouches with urban evasion across the entire map because, well, why not? Get the fuck out of here, Nia. Anyways, but yeah, to continue forward though, I do want to go ahead and say that halfway through me actually playing the game, I did see a massive spike in my experience, because playing DBD as a survivor and as a killer was quite interesting to me. But if there's anything more interesting for the story of me playing Dead by Daylight, it's mainly the fact that once I finally got my first ever killer that I actually wanted, things became basically amazing for me. And that begins with the story of me playing as my favorite killer of all time, the Deathslinger. Nice try, Deathy. Also, please don't reload, alright? I don't want you leaving a mess of bullets in the house. So, yes, alright, I will admit, I am a Deathslinger main. I don't know if, I mean, to be fair, people probably already knew that from the fact that I did a bunch of Deathslinger on my DVDs, like, you know, my DVD streams. But essentially, yeah, I was a massive, I still am a massive Deathslinger main. I love Deathslinger to death. I will play as him whenever I have the opportunity to, but I just really loved Deathslinger when I first started playing the game. Like, the moment I saw him on the killer tab and I saw that he had a gun, yeah, that was basically case closed. I immediately got him. Bought the killer, didn't even care for the survivor, just got the killer, and that was it. And that was the beginning of something that I honestly would consider my complete, like, rise to being one of the most dangerous Deathslinger players of all time. Because for many of the matches that I would play whenever I was a Deathslinger, I would always take risky prediction shots. And honestly, these kinds of shots were so risky that if I messed them up and I missed, then that survivor is definitely getting a whole bunch of distance away from me, because Deathslinger is a very, very interesting killer. It's either you shoot and you hit them and then you get your hit, or you shoot and you miss and you either choose to reload and waste a bunch of, like, let them get a bunch of distance, or you continue the chase without a reload and wait for an opportunity to reload closer to them. You know, it's a bit interesting to me. I know that some people have this, like, you know, very harsh opinion of, oh, Deathslinger is, you know, like a terrible killer, or, oh, he's a killer that's, like, really sometimes, like, freaking, like, I hate playing against him. You know, because, in my opinion, Deathslinger has one of the most powerful abilities that's let him, like, cut down any kind of loop in the game, if you're a good shot. And of course, like, there are two, in my opinion, there are two types of Deathslinger people, or maybe more, but there are more, like, two are currently how much I think about it right now. You have the Deathslinger that's pretty chill, and like, you know, he hits his shots pretty good, like, you know, he's a pretty chill guy. I think I'm in that category. I like to hit my shots when I'm actually focusing and not, you know, being an idiot. And then we have the other section with the guys that just either don't really shoot their gun from faraway distances, or they just shoot, or they do shoot their gun, but it's either when the survivor is, like, right on their booty cheeks, and, you know, they want to get the deep wound status effect. It's a bit of an, like, I wouldn't want to say that those are the only two. There probably is a bit more, but that's kind of the line, or the kind of, like, you know, like, kind of stable I put there. I don't know if maybe there's more. If you think there's more, put it in the comments. I really don't know. But yeah, like I did say though, Deathslinger was a massive turning point for me. I would play him constantly for every match that I was playing, and I got a lot of like, you know, decent things. I even got heck, I even got somebody to tell me that when they faced against me, I was told by them. I don't remember if it was in like the multiplayer chat or something, that they had never faced a Death Slinger as good as me. Of course, that was in the past. Nowadays, I don't know if I'm good or not. I just kind of like shoot whenever I can, and then if I hit it, yay, I hit it. If I don't hit it, oh boo, oh well. But yeah, that's basically how it was. But moving on though, it's close to after I got through with my Death Slinger craze, I started playing a bunch of other killers as well, because I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be able to just keep playing Death Slinger only. I'd have to play as other killers as well, because, you know, other killers have abilities too. So I went ahead and started getting some other killers. I started playing as other ones as well, and you know what, to finalize this section off, I want to really quickly say something very quickly, okay? Alright, I have my list of favorite killers. I hate Ghostface, okay? I don't like Ghostface, okay? I tried playing as Ghostface. I tried to play as him so many times. I can't seem to ever get it to work, alright? I don't like playing as him. Get out of here, Ghostface. Go. Shoot. Go. Shoot. Go. Get out of here. Yeah, that's right. And now, to finalize this section off, we are gonna go ahead and start talking a little bit more about the ending parts, because throughout the second portion of me actually playing the game and getting to where we are now, I had a lot of fun. I got a bunch of new killers, Death Slinger of course being my favorite, and honestly, it was just an interesting kind of thing for me. Would I say that the game got boring for me at one point? I will admit it did, but eventually I would get back into the game because I wanted to play it with my friends, and just in general, I wanted to have the opportunity to really go ahead and play it with, you know, just with my Death Slinger, and just with killers in general. So, I wouldn't say that the game got, like, you know, completely boring or bad, because I'm not here to call the game bad at any point. I'm just here to talk about my experiences. If you think the game is good or bad, don't talk about it in the comments. Talk about it somewhere else, because this is not the type of video where you're going to be able to go ahead and have a conversation about, oh, is Dead by Daylight bad or good? Well, honestly, I have my own opinions about the game right now. I'm not going to share them here because this is not that type of video. So, yeah, if you're gonna do that, go somewhere else, okay? Because I'm not gonna be dealing with that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and move on into the third and final section, where we will go ahead and start getting closer and closer to the ending portion of where we are today, and how I feel about Dead by Daylight as a whole, and a little bit something extra at the end. So okay, so there we go. Well, here we are. Section 3, the closing the part where we actually start to go ahead and get a little bit closer to the end of the video. However, I feel like this video isn't a little bit long enough, you know, because I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a video that was very interesting, but not too boring as well. So you know what, for this little intro section, why don't we go ahead and talk a little bit about a simple thing, really, in that I don't think people give Trapper the type of recognition he really deserves, okay? Yes, that's right. I'm talking about Trapper, the one guy that everybody keeps putting in like the D section of every single tier list, or like the last, or like one of the worst, what they consider the worst killer in the game. That's right. I'm talking about RNG. And you want to know something? Those people don't know Trapper as much as I do. Because let me tell you something right now. Yes, I will admit, Trapper is outdated. I will admit that Trapper is a killer that probably does require a massive big rework in how his power does work. But at the very least, you gotta give them credit when you understand that Trapper's ability is also what I consider to be one of the closest and most powerful abilities in the game if you place your traps correctly and utilize surroundings to the best of your abilities. Yes, there are maps that make his traps practically useless at times, but those types of maps are the types of maps that you want to avoid when playing Trapper. You have map offerings. Use those to get away from the potential map that is going to make Trapper terrible. Alright? And unless they're bringing a sacrificial ward, you're gonna go to the map that you choose. I mean, what kind of survivor is gonna bring a sacrificial ward in a freaking, like, you know, online game? Like, who? Nobody. Because they aren't gonna know what map you're gonna be choosing. Alright? And second of all, choose the add-ons that help you. Add-ons are there to help out. Yes, I know Trappers' add-ons are not the best, but at the same time, they're not the worst either. I mean, come on, automatically reset bear traps every once in a while? That'll help you out with a random bear trap that might get a survivor as well. Make survivors become injured? Thank you, I'd love that. I don't even run that. And there is one specific add-on that I also want to point out, that for you Trapper people out there that don't use it, you guys need to start using this, because I keep seeing a whole lot of Trapper people get their freaking legs stuck in a trap every single time that they walk through one. Okay, so you know the add-on that makes it, there is an add-on for Trapper that makes it so that you can walk through your traps. Not even joking. Literally an add-on in Trapper's kit that lets you walk through traps. Who knew? Alright, like, I'm not even joking, that's actually an add-on. Alright, I forgot the name of it, but hopefully when I edit this video later, I will be able to put it in, like, you know, like, out of nowhere, but still. Yeah, that is an add-on. Okay, you are more than capable of using that. Use that to mind game people when you're at pallets with traps. I mean, come on, it's not even that hard. Okay, I will not even tell you how many times I've had cocky survivors, like, just stand in front of a trap because they think they have me. They think they duped me. They think that they're safe. But then out of nowhere, I come out, walk through that damn trap, smack that boy straight in the head, and then they get hooked. Who's the loser now? Who's the one that got tricked? Ooh, mind game right there, alright? Look, I know I was ranting for a bit, but all I gotta say here is that if you think Trapper is truly the worst killer in the game, please, please, please don't say that as much as you want to say it. Well, I do want to admit that once again, Trapper is still not the best killer in the game. I would not call him the worst killer in the game. I would not call him the hardest killer in the game. Yes, RNG is a bitch sometimes, but Trapper is not the worst killer in Dead by Daylight. Sure, he's outdated. I will admit, he's outdated. Sometimes he's not fun to play against when you're playing against a competitive team, but at the very least, he still has he still has a powerful ability and great add-ons to use it with. Don't call him terrible. Maybe you're just terrible. I'm sorry. God. Man. Whew, that was a very lengthy rant. Also, Darva. If you a bitch for putting Trapper in D. Yeah, I'm joking. I'll tell you, I don't actually. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Anyways, let's move. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on into section 3. The ending portions of Dead by Daylight being put into my life and me playing it to where I am today. So after that very, very lengthy Trapper rant, we are now at the home stretch, the ending portion, section 3, the final ending towards the future of where we are now, and my final thoughts on Dead by Daylight as a whole. To be honest, it's not really that big of like information I gotta put down your minds right now. The most big one I can really give you at the moment is the fact that after we get past the middle section of me actually starting to learn the game and get more killers and everything like that, becoming a Deathslinger main and making so much use of Deathslinger, and also starting my my entire Twitch channel off of DBD content, I really don't really well, it was mainly just like a continuation of that in a way. I continued to get more and more experience. I eventually got Ace, who, became my go-to survivor because, his perks are all about luck. He's also lucky. I'm lucky. I mean, come on, it's a match made in heaven. You can't tell me otherwise. I would marry Ace if I could. Actually? No, I stand by that statement. Ace and me are getting married. Screw it. But yeah, Ace became my new favorite survivor. I used to play a whole bunch of Dwight and David because David. Funny joke. It was a funny joke that we also had as well in my friend group and everything. So, but yeah. Moving on though. I will admit that once new stuff did start coming out as well while I was playing the game. I think I actually started to be able to play the game once. It was Wesker. Yeah, Wesker. Yeah. I was actually, like, my first ever PTB. I don't know if you guys know what a PTB is for DBD, but it's basically a public test build that Behavior allows for people to, like, test out the new renditions, or, like, the new stuff that's gonna be added. And I was actually capable of playing the Wesker PTB. And in my opinion, when I got the chance to play that PTB, it was like I entered a wonderful, like, it was like I entered DBD as, like, a new player again. Because Wesker and the whole bunch of new survivors that we got for that PTB and, like, the new, like, you know, the new chapter in total were amazing. I loved Wesker. I didn't even know who Wesker was until I saw Wesker, and then I started doing a whole bunch of, like, Wesker stuff because it was Wesker. And, you know, now that I think about it, maybe that's why Wesker was here earlier. I don't know. Hopefully he doesn't come back. Sorry, I was half expecting him to burst through that wall. Anyways, so moving on though. But yeah, at some point I even almost became a Wesker main because I just genuinely loved Wesker so much. I loved his perks, I loved the killer in general. Some people also loved him, some people didn't like him. But at the end of the day, DBD's a game. You can't really do much. Like, you know, you can't satisfy both sides in a way. But yeah, after that PTB and Wesker did finally come out, I immediately got Wesker because it's Wesker. Like, I feel like that's a reason that most people really like it's Wesker. Like, hey, you want to get Wesker? Sure, well, why? Like, why do you want to get Wesker? It's Wesker. Oh. Like, I'm pretty sure that's, like, the best way. Like, imagine that was, like, how it was in real life. Like, you walked up to, like, a grocer, and he was like, oh, you want to buy some milk? Why do you want to buy the milk? Because it's milk? Oh. Okay. That would actually be pretty stupid. Wait. What kind of milk is it? Wesker's milk? No, wait a minute. Anyways, before the FBI decide to break my door down, or before Wesker tries to come back and find me, moving on from the Wesker thing, though, after the whole Wesker craze happened, and we started to get some new killers as well as like I think new survivors it was. I eventually did get myself some new killers, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I was way more killer sided than on survivor sides because I don't know why, I just didn't really like playing Survivor solo sometimes. Because I will admit, solo queuing Survivor is sometimes a gamble of whether or not you actually get competent teammates, or you get people that either just got the game and you don't know what they're doing, or you get put with meme lords, such as the No Mither players. I'm looking at myself because I was a No Mither player at one point, and I generally don't know why. But yeah, essentially, solo queue is still somewhat of a very interesting thing. I know that the MMR stuff was changed a whole lot, but I never really cared about that thing a whole lot. Mainly because I wasn't playing when that happened, or I was playing, but I just didn't care. But, yeah. But as the years progressed, and I started seeing some new killers and everything, I slowly started to distance myself from the game, which you could also see on my Twitch channel too, because eventually I just generally stopped playing DBD on Twitch, like in general. Because in my opinion, DBD just didn't really hit the same anymore. And if you remember, in like one of my streams that I did, I genuinely said that I just wasn't interested with the game on Twitch anymore, because like, in my opinion, there's just too many people playing DBD on Twitch to really trying DBD game. Like, if you're trying to, like, do something, like, you know, trying to have some fun on Twitch and, like, you know, trying to, like, entertain people, it's hard to do that when there's a multitude of, like, other entertainers that are also doing the exact same thing. Like, it adds to the pile of, like, you not being really capable of doing that thing if you want to. Especially when Otsdarva is streaming, because he gets all the views. No offense to Otsdarva, though. Okay, please don't send your dog to kill me, Ots. Please. But yeah, essentially, like, trying to stream DBD at any point is not exactly something I really want to have to deal with, if it means that I would have to be, like, actively trying to, like, you know, get people to join my stream and whatnot, which I didn't want to do. I don't want to force anybody to watch my streams. Alright, if you want to hop on in and say hi and whatnot, and then leave straight afterwards or lurk around, that is totally fine. I am fine with that happening whenever you want. You don't have to stay for the entire stream. I'm not holding anybody hostage. Yeah, no, I'm not holding anybody hostage. Anyways, so moving on from that too as well, but when it comes to really getting closer to where we are today, not a whole lot has changed about my overall opinion of the game. I mean, actually, well, it did with this newest chapter, but by this point, right now, they have been doing a whole lot of different changes with the chapter, and they are planning some big things with the next coming update. So, overall, the journey of mine with DBD isn't exactly a massive, like, you know, big story. Like, it's not something that has, like, a dramatic intro, or a dramatic drama at the middle, or something that happens towards the end that changes my whole view on the entirety of the world, and makes me an advocate for something like that. But, yeah, no, it's not that. It's literally just a story of me getting interested in this game, having a massive spike of interest to it, but then eventually having it die down just because I wasn't really interested in it anymore. And let me tell you something, the newest, DLC or the chapter that recently came out, as well as with some of the drama with, the newest update, which, by the way, they did confirm that they changed some things to make the next update better, so that's actually pretty nice. Thank you so much, Behavior. But essentially, to end off this section here, DBD, at this point, was not really something that I was very actively interested in. It's still a game that I play. I still play the game from time to time, but it's not a game that I would say that I'm a massive big fan of, that I would want to play whenever I had the opportunity to. It's a game that I play from time to time with my friends because I actively want to have fun with them. I want to enjoy the game. And overall, it's a game that you might as well also give a shot if you want to have it, like, have some fun with it, play with some friends, or, just mess around in customs. And with that being said, though, this will end Section 3, and we'll start making it forward to my final end thoughts and opinions about this whole ordeal. Well, this has been quite a journey. Originally there was going to be a whole lot more added to this video, but I just couldn't bring myself to add it because a majority of the original script really did include my good friend Jake, but because he got kidnapped by Wesker, I had to cut out a whole lot of different plans and ideas that I had for this video. But nevertheless, though, I still hope that you guys enjoyed today's video because it's been quite a ride, but I mean, my overall thoughts for DBD and what it's done for me is a pretty simple sentence and a pretty simple belief, in that it hasn't really done much. Unlike all the other topics that we've had on this show, DBD is just one of those types of topics that, yes, it had an impact and a bit of a change on my life, but it never affected me that big, because at the end of the day, I just play this game for fun. I play this game with my friends from time to time just to go ahead and have some fun, because that's the point of DBD. The big, thing about DBD is that sometimes it's not about winning. Sometimes it's not about, getting immediately killed at the very beginning, or tunneled out, or being, killed by a toxic player. At the end of the day, what matters more is the fact that you have the ability to enjoy the game, that you have fun with the game. Sure, you may have a bad match from time to time, or you might have bad matches at the beginning, but if you're having that many bad matches, just do what Otsdarva says: stop playing the game, take a break, go play something else, okay? Because sometimes things will sometimes if you just keep trying to play the game when you're already feeling like crap and shit, then you're just gonna make it worse. The best thing for you to do is to try your hardest to move on, play another game, relax, and then when you come back, you'll be refreshed, you'll be prepared, you'll know what to do this time, and you'll actually be able to have a better game than what you had last time. And to also go ahead and say what I think about the cheating situation and, the doxers and whatnot. Doxing is not okay, alright? I don't know what it is with these guys and why they think it's an amazing idea to just start doxing people and whatnot, but just to let you know, I don't like it. I don't like it whatsoever. I hate doxing. I hate hackers. I don't want to be associated with hackers whatsoever. And overall, it's just why would you want to do that? Just why? There's no reason for you to do it. There's no active reward, unless the reward is you apparently trolling people, which, good on you, you trolled somebody. Here's your little medal. I mean, it's just, there's no reason for you to do it. There's no reason at all, and yet they still do it, so until Behavior figures out a way to get rid of them, we're probably going to keep seeing them for a while longer, and it's going to be quite a hell of a ride, I will say that. But overall, though, that will be the end of today's video, because, well, we reached the end. And honestly, I really like what I've done for this episode for today. You will understand that this video had taken me quite a bit of time to actually edit and put together, with me recording these voice lines, and also me recording Jake's voice lines before he eventually had to go deal with something else. I mean, before he got kidnapped by Wesker, woo! But yeah, this video was taking quite a bit of time to make, you know, and I really wanted to take the opportunity when I had the chance, which was of course spring break, to go ahead and edit this video for you guys, so you guys could have this video, enjoy it, relax to it, and just have some fun. I also want to point out that the side project of, you know, the last video was an amazing video. If you want to go ahead and check that out as well, I will go ahead and leave those videos up right here on the video or in the description if you guys want to go check that video out. And to go ahead and finalize things off, I will be leaving a link to Jake's Twitch, as he was originally in the first part of this video, but eventually did have to leave for different reasons unknown. So go show your support to him on his Twitch channel when he does actually live stream and anything. But with all that being said, though, this has been quite an interesting episode. For the next Lucky episode, I'll let you guys know exactly what's going to be happening there, because I have been Lucky Explosion, this has been the Lucky Explosion channel, and I hope you all have a very, very lucky day, afternoon, night, or where it is you're from, and I will see you all in the next Lucky Show. Ciao! Why is there knocking on my door again? Better not be who I think it is. What are you doing back here?
I'll see you dead!
I did what I
You know what?
could.
I think we're gonna go watch some anime.